In short, this is what I have to say. Concentrate on let us get out. Because now, that's right. Discipline, tolerance,
I might be all right. A blessed good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alicia Felix, and I'm here to give you all some greetings. I hope you all are enjoying your day, your vacation. I hope you are spending time with your families. I know this is the time to be getting books and pencil and paper and getting yourself ready for school. So I hope everybody is getting through with their adventure in terms of that. I know it's been a ride and stuff. So I hope everyone is getting through with getting their books, and may God bless you and keep you safe. Please agree with me as I say I will pray to open this life. Dear God, Heavenly Father, I thank you for life, health, and strength. I thank you for this is the day that you have made, and you continue to be us. Heavenly Father, I thank you for everyone who will be up here today, Lord. Heavenly Father, I ask that you will give them some kind of encouragement, some kind of clarity, and they will be engaged in and have conversation, oh Lord. Heavenly Father, I ask that you will protect all the children of your land. Heavenly Father, I ask that you will take us from higher heights and deeper depths. Everybody will enjoy their life and do what you want for your honor and for your glory, and I ask that your will will be done. And everybody will live according to your will, your way, and your way. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen and amen. So currently, I hope you all are enjoying your life. I hope you all are continuing to be the salt of the earth. I hope you all continue to do what God said you to do. And you know, if it is the rest, God will do the rest. So if it is, just take the time to improve on your skill to bless people, God will take care of you. And it says in you, God will fight your battles for you. So I hope everybody continue to pray and stay together and read the Bible, because it is very important. You cannot say that you just live by the word if you're not reading the word. You could have some idea. I hope you continue to practice love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I hope you follow the 10 commandments. I hope you honor your parents and your mother and your father so that the days could be long. I hope everybody continue to live in the way. And even if you cannot just have full gospel, I hope you continue to read your word still, continue to read, because reading is making us get wisdom and knowledge and clarity from. I hope everybody doesn't just run into arguments. I hope you all take the time to listen from other people's perspective, because everybody is human being and everybody have an idea, and what the argument is when two different people have ideas. So I hope everybody continue to share, and I hope this conversation will be engaging with you this afternoon. And share the live. Yeah. Bye-bye. Well, later, that's coming up just right after this snippet. Yeah. Later.
Production. A strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So, because this is our land, come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Blessed good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family and friends. Blessed good afternoon, blessed good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of August, Brothers and sisters, you know that this is the day that the Lord has made. I want to thank my lovely daughter Alicia for opening us up in a word of prayer. Brothers and sisters, again, you know, from one problem to the next, we mix again a little problem, so the echo might be a little hollow, but at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to deliver the message. So, our responsibility is to talk today. So, as you come up, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to share the live and you get to call somebody who knows somebody and let them know your boy Irvin is up, and this is the next episode of Real Talk. So, brothers and sisters, as we talk, as we dialogue, or you call somebody. Really? You got to back on that song, eh? You try to help my nation, unification. All right. All right. Blessed good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Blessed good afternoon. Again, you know, it's Irvin. And brothers and sisters, you know, we got to talk. And where we starting today? Today, we conversation actually starting with independence. Independence. Yeah. With independence, right? And as we know the conversation, a lot of people continue to use their trickery while they practice politics. No problem with it. And when we verbalize, apparently it's we who campaigning. So no problem with it, but at the end of the day, our responsibility is to always stay factual and relevant with our conversation. So a part of the conversation right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that Ms. Kamala Persad wicked. And before we even move forward, I want to say a blessed good afternoon to the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Kamala Persad, who we have up here saying Karima, blessed good afternoon. Tara, Gazatini, blessed good afternoon. To Anthony, blessed good afternoon. Pearl Sami, big up yourself. Who we have up, Kisun, big up yourself. And everyone who up on today's program, blessed good afternoon and continue to stay focused, continue to stay blessed. Remember that each and every one of us have a positive and a constructive role to play here in Trinidad and Tobago. But brothers and sisters, the conversation continues. And the conversation is, over the years in Trinidad and Tobago, we listen to the shortcomings. We understand what it is we're dealing with. We know coming. This is despite the whole political aspect. And we can just have an overall conversation. And when it's time to blame, you don't know who it is we have to blame because either way. But in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a structure. And brothers and sisters, with the structure that we have a responsibility as people to be aware of things that is taking place in our species. Now, I was in Point Fortin. I'm in Point Fortin. I support Mr. Raymond Peace. We have different people in different parts. There are people in Rosilac, in Dow, in Labre, Princess Tongue, Cuba, Shogunas, Diego Martin. Every district had their own representative. And when we listen to the conversation coming out of it, now our responsibility, those of us who don't live in particular communities, because we all don't live in the same community as much as our shortcomings and our circumstances are basically the same. But we don't live in the same communities. So we listen to the conversation over the period of time, and part of the topic is that Mr. Sturge, they take some money from somebody, and then they says the UNC take the money. So either way, we have that conversation in the public domain, right? Based on that conversation now, we also dealing with the fact that we had corruption in CPEP, corruption in URP. God knows as we move along, because I released our prison video yesterday. And it's sad that the PNM people up on the page calling about the video I put up with Mr. Fitzgerald Hines and Mr. Rowley in a picture, signing deal with the United States of America government. They were signing, them was there. And I put up the picture from their government and then come on my page to explain to me that I given out misinformation. So we going to touch a little bit on that too, but you guys until later. But while we continue to deal, each and every one of us dealing with issues. And in every community, as I told you, in every constituency have their own elements. One of the elements is our conversation come from up in Mr. Sturgis electoral district with some money conversation. No problem. And then our next conversation come because Ms. Khadija Amin happened to be our local government minister, and the way she speaks, the way she represents, you realize she come to work. And then based on the words coming out from the Prime Minister's mouth, already read the riot act and already gave, we should say, ample warning to those representing under her about their activities. One could understand. All right, Khadija Amin speaking in a particular type of way, she managed business, local government, something needs to be done. Either we fixing the structure when it comes to councillor. So you already see Ms. Khadija Amin have a vivid idea of what she wants implemented when given the proper resources is the word to use. Because those of us who have basic common sense will tell you that the last administration, which was the PNM, led by Rowley, closed off the chapter with Stuart Young unconstitutionally, but this is what we end up with. The last administration, brothers and sisters, did nothing to address nothing. So we end up with a new government that have the responsibility to basically move Trinidad and Tobago forward. We're supposed to be 25, we're supposed to be in 2025. And based on the structure that we were left with under the former administration, it's like we're still in 2013. We stopped somewhere down in 2010, somewhere down there, because this is the conversation we have. We're still talking about proper investment for the oil field. We're still discussing about roads. We're still discussing about the school structure. And when I say the school structure, about our children and the books, because some of us are children in Form 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 children right in the house. And every year, for some strange reason, the child who move up from Form 1, the child who coming into Form 1 can't use the child books. We're in 2025 and still asking government assurance that this structure actually stopped. So this is just to tell you where we at as a nation. And ladies and gentlemen, we end up with Ms. Khadija Amin threats on her life based on what she wants to implement. And obviously, when you're implementing things, you will find out information. And again, my name is Irvin Felix. My responsibility is to continue giving factual data. And I don't know if all them minding all the business, but the last time an audit was done when it comes to this corporation, it was done under the PNM. And mind me, I am telling you the only reason why PNM did the audit is because they honestly thought that the UNC corporations would have looked more bad than the PNM corporations. And when the information come out, brothers and sisters, the corporations, especially those in the PNM districts, they have not been actually held accountable for the resources that they have been spending throughout the years. And obviously, with a government being led by Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, with an Attorney General, Mr. John Jeremy, if scrupulous activities is picked up in the midst, obviously, it will have to be addressed. Because this is what we vote for. This is the commitment that the government made with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So you don't understand how Ms. Khadija Amin life at risk. Then we end up with Mr. Barry Padarat, who again, ladies and gentlemen, and brothers and sisters, those of us who support the UNC, those of us who support the population of interest, we must understand the responsibility on a daily basis. Because when these folks put out content, we must be up to date with what they are saying. Why, if you're listening that your local government minister life is at risk, well then, You calculate what your local government minister is saying, and you know how to just look back and say, yes, that is a strong possibility. Based on how Mr. Barry Pararat handles the government's business. Not personal, transparent, not racial, unified. This is how Barry Pararat delivers it. Now, mind me, ladies and gentlemen, we have people out there who have been making investment based on the information coming from the police. They have been making investment in rogue activities to continue to destabilize the minds of people in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know how to connect the dots, because as we navigate forward, brothers and sisters, I come off the phone this morning with a football coach from Tobago. Forget the name of the football academy. Mr. Ryan is his name, and he's the coach. And how I made contact with him is because somebody from England who are wrong, we're talking major football teams, and they actually see what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. They actually see the people who are starting back to build in Trinidad and Tobago. So what they are actually doing, because the person is actually from Point 14. Now, why I explain this to you nationally is because based on the words with the person telling me, they actually connected to the major football teams. The coach from Tobago just carried a football team from Tobago to England, to the club. Now, brothers and sisters, based on what I'm understanding, they have hope. Now, one might wonder, Irvin, why are you interested in this? First things first, sports and Point 14, sports and Trinidad and Tobago, it goes hand in hand. The second thing, ladies and gentlemen, we already know that in life, getting your education, it don't necessarily bound to be based and structured around your parents working hard and paying for it. Your child gifting, your child talent can actually work to help out with their education. Once we have the relevant structures in place to start to develop our sporting act, this is why I tell people over the years, you see with all the talk, Foster Cummins talk because he was the Minister of Youth. You see all the talk, Nyan Gasbidali talk, she was the Minister of Education. You see all the talk those two ministers put together talk and all the monies that was spent among those two persons over the years. If people have been paying attention, you would realize, and this is not a mama guy thing because yesterday was Annie Roberts' birthday. If people was paying the business, minding the business, you would realize that Annie Roberts, forget the rest of the UNC for now, Annie Roberts did more work when it comes to the youths, when it comes to sports, than the former Minister of Sports and the former Minister of Youth put together. That is facts. That is facts. And the fact that that structure changed now, today we have a Minister of Sports. Now we have Mr. Annie Roberts in housing who's still dealing with his category in sports, which he does coach and deal with. And brothers and sisters, they know you having people calling in, brothers, I call your boy Irvin, we buy from Point 40. And they're watching that the viewership, they're watching the contribution, they're listening to the calls that is being made, because they realize now people in Trinidad and Tobago, we no longer continue to participate with racialism and separation and trying to make our own African brothers and sisters and our own Indian brothers and sisters, and the African talking to African and telling them that the Indian man is the enemy, and Indian talking to Indian and telling them that African man is the enemy. And brothers and sisters, we can't go forward with that. We can't go forward with that. And the people watching, especially 648 page, they're actually listening and reading the comments too. They're watching how they're defending the government, because what the government is actually discussing and what they are saying, what they're practicing before our eyes is a lack of corruption, and on top of that, accountability to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it was able so far to attract Exxon back in Trinidad and Tobago. It was able so far to attract Shell back to Trinidad and Tobago. It was able so far to attract the Japan government and all made contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. It was able so far. They could say what they want. If Mr. Moody was coming here with Rowley, then he would not even waste time to come with nothing because he don't have enough sense to realize how the supporters just get on. So India realized that, listen, we have a structured government in Trinidad and Tobago, and on top of that, Vietnamese Kamala has some history and she family from down by we. Only we go down there and show the love respectfully and show the love with unity. Hence the reason why at the bottom of the steps of the plane, you see all the confusion, the African PNM, and all the tantrum they throw out about the picture that one person selectively put out. I don't know if you catch the comment coming from the young man when he was being interviewed. It was a blessing, the young African boy. And God knows it was a blessing for the two young Indian boys too. But just as it was a blessing for the two Indian boys, it was a blessing for the young African boy. And when I'm telling you that because the major function where Mr. Moody come to Trinidad and Tobago and he actually addressed the crowd. Me and my wife, who was given the opportunity to be a part of the assembly. And it was a blessing to me. And honestly, you know, when you're leaving out, because we talk to people on a daily basis, it had a lot of our Indian friends. It was like, wait, now all you get you. And I see the happy for you and the envy in the eye too. And I was like, nah, I don't get no harassment. And they was glad for me and my wife too. Because a lady even tell you, one of the supporters even tell you, listen, Irvin, if you meet Mr. Moody, just tell him, the little Indian lady down in Point 14 by Kalicharan, say God bless him and stay strong and we love you. And this is if you understand what I'm saying, and this is how Indian people just deal with the people. And I am saying, brothers and sisters, I live in Trinidad and Tobago. The only how Brian Lara does get love is when everybody's supporting Brian Lara. I have yet to see any African community or any African leader or any African platform actually take segregated time to actually discuss and promote the African culture. And when I was doing it, the Muslim me, they tell the Trinidad and Tobago that I only talking and bigging up Jerry Richards and them and bigging up because me ain't get nothing from PNM. And them didn't understand, just like how they didn't understand why it was so important for Brian Lara and others to continue with the B-Mobile promotion, with the digital or whoever it is promotion. They didn't realize that. But ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm telling you, when the man called me and he explained to me the kind of contacts he have and what it is he's dealing with. And he want to start this program, he want to start it in Point 14. But his vision is to spread it through Trinidad and Tobago. When he said that, my ears going up one time. Now I know you might be saying, well, why did your ears going up? Let me explain something to you. Trinidad and Tobago is a nation that we are a dot on the map, but we are also an impactful nation. Our culture plays a significant part of what is going on out there in society today. Now, let me explain something to you. The history Trinidad and Tobago have. We have steel pan, we have the pitch lake. All these things you ain't getting no way these things that we actually own. Right? And at one time, you know what Trinidad and Tobago had? At one time, Trinidad and Tobago had the highest paid African football. That was Dwight York. In Dwight York time, in Dwight York peak, in Dwight York prime, Dwight York was the highest paid footballer in the world. And he was representing the African community. So yes, when you're looking at, and now I just taking the football and follow up on the football over the years. Now, it's an Indian playing football all over the world. But we never hear about the highest paid Indian footballer. And something telling me a program like that coming to Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen, something telling me this country could deliver that. The nice thing with it is that the people who come in with the opportunities, they come in with it collectively for all the communities. This is why, brothers and sisters, we have a responsibility to break that spirit of racialism. We cannot, we as African, today now we want to sit down and talk about Dwight York and trying to align Dwight York with PNM. But when was time to actually give Dwight York praise and respect for his training, his contribution. Indian people was more in front in the line. Indian people was more in front in the line. If you go down, listen, you cannot go down to India. Not an Indian part of the community I'm talking about here now. You cannot go down to India and bad talk Brian. You can't do that. It makes no sense. You're going to end up in some problems. And based on what it is, actually, thank you very much. Based on what it is, actually, the last delivery with Marshall Montano, I don't think you could go India and bad talk Marshall Montano. And if they will market to you Indian people, Indian people that's called African monkey. Indian people that's called we all kind of nasty names. Well, my responsibility is here to bring some clarity to Trinidad and Tobago and watch me. We are Indian up, we are Africans up. All of us start to correct me when I'm going wrong, please, because the world is watching. You know how you was really an Indian calling an African a monkey or a nasty degrading name? Tell yourself that is a vexing name. And tell yourself there's some kind of confusion going on in the background. Since the program started, I East Indian people up on the program. Every one of them had a phone in their hand, had a typing pad in their hand, and every one of them could have typed up Irvin is a monkey. On an everyday basis, we doing program here. Any one of them could type up, whether they agree or don't agree with the conversation. Because as we well know, it are Indian people in the PNL. And them in typing up that is a monkey. So then, how we still have African, especially African elders, marketing to the young people in this country today, this 2025, that no Indian don't like them. When the world watching, people who was living in this country, people who from here, seeing the hope, understanding what coming off of some of the platforms, understanding the contribution that is being made, not just by me, but by those who also supporting and even those who are against, because those who are against us have enough sense when they get enough licks to stop talk, that are say they're gone. That are say they're gone. And the only reason why we have to continue discussing this on an everyday basis is until the problem is rectified. We could boast globally. One time when we had the highest paid footballer. And even say we could chisel it down and say we had the highest paid African footballer. One time in the world, that was Dwight York. When Dwight York running on the field, first Dwight York money did big. They used to be pronouncing the man money while he played. As the money evolved and as the match evolved, they're telling you about the 28 million and they're like, but I used to watch the game and be like, well, like they're setting up the man. Like they're setting up the man. But it's not that, it's the announcer was just proud that is what we have by. And over the years as an African, I remember other people telling me about open my Dwight York thing. So our responsibility, this is despite the dilapidated state of football in this country. How could Trinidad and Tobago have a legacy, have a reputation? Listen, we have a reputation of making it to the World Cup. Thank you very much to Mr. Jack Warner. Those of you who missed it, and Mr. Jack Warner again, blessed good afternoon to you still. Because Mr. Jack Warner showed the whole of Trinidad and Tobago that while all you're talking, I schooling. So I'm telling you, congratulations with your degree, with your philosophy partners. Big up Mr. Jack Warner, show us something in Trinidad and Tobago. So ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to send out a little congratulations to Mr. Jack Warner, please. But brothers and sisters, everything we're dealing with football. Trinidad and Tobago make it to the World Cup. And on top of that, we had the highest paid footballer at one time, which is Mr. Dwight York from Tobago. You telling me with those two legacies, that is not enough over the years. As a matter of fact, we don't even want to be taking anything, first we were the problem to fix. But over the years, those who had the responsibility to take charge of the football culture, because it was already shown that we could deliver. And what you might just call Dwight York, me even call Latapi and Angus Stephen, and the list goes on. Me call no certain names yet. We have people in this country who went on and continuing to go on to represent on a major level. And yet still, and that would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if we have footballers that make it to that level, and I am telling you the quality of support when coming to just basic maintaining pavilions, maintaining football fields, maintaining. Those are the things when we talk about slackness from government, that is what we're talking about. When we talk in sports, that is what you call slackness from a government, because all the history, all the data before your eyes. But I am pleased to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, based on the good afternoon, big brother. Talk to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Philip.
Blessed afternoon.
Mr. Philip, I feel very good and very bad.
Talk to
for them and I don't feel like it's you know, this morning, Philip. Yeah, man.
loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yeah, man.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
This morning, I go on my MP. I go in and be like, you, so I was thinking of a man who walking inside, when comes to tell me, right now, they see nobody. Well, I can recommend you because then I think,
Yeah.
if this is next man to explain something, right from the CDMC, all the time she was seeing me,
Yeah.
she knows me. I said, let's take the thing and ignore it, but I tried to back to them.
Yeah.
But I got my love taken this to my business.
For real. So I'm going to tell you about how it unfold.
You're calling me, you're texting me and telling me something. One I bought you, telling my thing about that too. And all that kind of thing. But no, yeah, you take it out, book grant and all that kind of thing. And I'm strong support that we just in it. You just correct here, correct in it. Sometimes we don't pay less of it for me, we let the law to students just now.
KFC, you ain't get a call up by you, your MP in calling and song him good enough.
I said, never when I go there, I said, I can't do the execution, and I just tell them to talk to me, and then they have to know my business and so, and what going on, right?
KFC, I think.
This morning, I just walk out and you meet for dinner with my dinner.
Nah. No, listen. Well, then we got to set something up, KFC. We got to set up something because.
I think I remember I could call and say, I said, you woman, when I call it, give me a man to come and tell me something different. So I can't talk to the people. Everybody now, I said, oh, my business.
Oh, God.
I don't let them say nothing like.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. KFC, you got to.
She knows me, she don't know people today. The friend got to let me know, I said, this friend guy not
KFC. All right, big brother. I think I understand what's going on with KFC Day. But I must say, ladies and gentlemen, before I explain KFC situation, I must tell them my experience here in Point 14. I must say that me and my family, we don't have that kind of relationship. My member of parliament has actually reached out because, again, when I give you the information, I give you up-to-date information. My member of parliament make sure and reach out with our school book thing and we talk, because at the end of the day, you know, we and all us do we think. So I must say that I'm well up to date, and I'm kind of disappointed to hear a man like KFC going through that in his district. So I hope the MP don't take the message wrong, but understand that really and truly, when people like us show, because we just try our best to do different things. We just try to leave the space for the people and them who really crying out to come and talk to all you. So when you see people like we show up, you don't know it have to be something wrong or something going drastically right, and I just need to update it. Because KFC is a fighter. KFC is not one of the regular bloggers, not the regular supporters. KFC, I want to accept a whole strong brother, and watch me. Better call me up here and let me see if we could line up a shot for you to get the MP, because apparently not everybody go understand it. Not everybody go understand the value of what was done to. And you can't vex with those who do understand. We will have to actually have the conversation so that they could understand. But I must say, brothers and sisters, here in Point Fortin, I don't have that matter of fact. All you don't see Anil Roberts, everybody does make sure and link me just this morning. Barry Pada, I am talking to my people and them, and I'm telling you straight, and I tell people the thing slow, but I am holding on to the reality, because what is being said is none of dreams. As much as we sitting back and we talking about when public servants getting 10%, when we could discuss pension raise, when the refinery and when this and when that and when this. Let me tell you something. When we government have full autonomy is when it is them read a budget and calculate for what them calculate for. Right now, they're still dealing with what it is PNM calculate for. And PNM didn't calculate to raise no pension. They didn't calculate to give no public servant no 10%. So if it is the United National Congress, continue and go forward and start to do what they say they're going to do without the money, then they will end up doing the same thing that the PNM did with the CPEP structure. How they come and break their own amendment. And this is exactly the problem that they have. So to be brothers and sisters and much more, to the representative. After the budget now, after the budget, I am telling all something, you know. I am expecting after the budget, when Trinidad and Tobago get jumpstart, because I really wanted it to get jumpstart before the local election. But based on what it is we see here and how these people and them tie up, we think the government really had the mathematics to do. And you notice how everybody, if it is, we still have everybody out in the open. We still have John Jeremy playing loud. We still have Miss Kamala there singing. We still have all our own talk and mama guy. Where is Miss Kamala? Where is Miss Kamala? Only need to tell them catch the blast itself, you know. We preparing for our budget come September. We can't be playing them kind of jokes, you know. Nobody has no reason to be harassing the Minister of Finance. You know. We just now do a whole structure budget consultation. All that information have to be compiled under one roof, and Tobago and all do the budget consultation, you know. All that information have to be compiled in one place, and the best decision have to be chosen from those information, you know. And we expecting the best decision to be chosen. Because Tobago where he slice at the pie, Point Fortin where he slice at the pie, Saparia been starving waiting on this, like God knows Cedras, oh God. Cedras been starving waiting on the slice at the pie. Shogun as well, God know. Look at the condition of the highway. Look at the condition of the highway. When you coming down the college, let me be real, and this was before CPEP stopped, you know. This was before CPEP stopped, so PNM was actually running the place like it didn't even have a CPEP. That is what was taking place. So when it is we listen people out in the open and continue to play politics and continue to play all this jokey thing, I just tell people, watch me, it have times they would get vexed. It have decisions that would be made. Like the other day when I stand up and watch Mr. Alexander hand out an award to the police officer will give the ticket. Now mind me, at the end of the day, the police officer responsibility is to give out ticket if traffic violations is being committed. But that was a kind of heartbreaking thing too. Because we be real and reasonable, we no stand with the government. And while we was campaigning, while we was walking and talking, we was speaking about the victimization with unjust ticket and this unjust numeric point system. So when we turn around and we saw that, and why I respect Mr. Alexander for it, because you remember the man having a hot mouth to it. I like how it is he didn't attack back the public. It's like they get the information and basically understood. We understood. And with that being said and done to the police officer, we ain't taking nothing away from you, brother. You go ahead and do your work. And a matter of fact, blessed good afternoon to our defense services in Trinidad and Tobago. Whether it be security, army, coast guard, whether it be police, whoever you are, blessed good afternoon to you. But ladies and gentlemen, although we have to continue to be real and reasonable with what it is we're dealing with. You see what KFC have to call in and say. These is things that people on the outside thinking not going on. We don't want this to continue. We don't want this to continue. So and again, ladies and gentlemen, I myself have to watch how I talking. Because remember, as a member of parliament, I reaching out to. But at the end of the day, to the member of parliament, please, anybody listening, and the Roberts, please, only get to the bottom of this and we try to remedy what's going on. Because KFC have enough sense, he have enough information to know that nothing major cannot be done. Because that has already been publicly spoken. Nothing major cannot be done until budget is ready. But again, you listen what it is he addressed because he have children in his possession. It's back to school grant going on and it's, let me be real. So I'm just saying, let me just handle it with respect so we can keep, because going forward, ladies and gentlemen, I keep telling all you, those type of games, probably that member of parliament to play that game. But like the supporters in Point Fortin, like how we understand the value of our member of parliament, our member of parliament continue to show that he understands the value of those who support him. He even understand the value of those who have to come on board. And the nice thing with it is people reaching out and they're reaching out, talking about bringing the support that the member of parliament actually was talking about, and people in the budget consultation was actually talking about attracting people to come and enhance coach, enhance the sporting structure, enhance the steel pan structure. And the people are calling, I tell her, I just come off the phone with a man from England. The man partner from Tobago, and they just brought back some children to Tobago. They went in a football camp in England. And as much as they discuss ways to enhance the camp, the fella in Tobago is actually supporting the vibes and spreading the thing throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Or in his case, we could say Tobago and Trinidad for respect was, you understand what I'm saying? But it's the same damn thing anyway. Whether you're going or coming. So brothers and sisters, we have to hold it together. Anybody who know of this situation that KFC is dealing with, only please get the information to the member of parliament. Please, and this thing, I don't know, because if you don't do it, KFC with this is not that. It's not that. If you listen to what KFC saying, he's supporting the government. So please, let me get some form of redress with this. If KFC present himself better, he will get one. Well, all right. Well, probably Ramki soon. Well, I don't know if you're aware of the situation, but KFC, what they're saying too is basically the level that you on, you could get yourself on a kind of dignitary standard. So when you get anything, you call me back, please, big brother. Basically, this is why I'm seeing it. The level that you on, you could set your meeting or you could set your vibes to get audience in a kind of dignitary standard. Because mainline to tell you, when I go down, sometimes I just have to tell the people and them, it's a plenty and Crystal and them, I go wait. I go wait because them know when it is we sure it has to be something drastically wrong or either some damn good news we get. And I believe KFC should be treated, should KFC go in jacket. Not we have to go in jacket and tie. We don't have to go in jacket and tie. Right? Probably some miscorrespondence between the office staff. The office staff probably personally don't like KFC. Remember, everybody feels somebody coming to get slice in the pie to it. And if that is what going on, and if that is what people thinking, brothers and sisters up in that office, and the PNM we are thinking it. I know we government market, so just in case it has somebody in that office thinking, when KFC come, you'll get big up. So we really don't want KFC connect with the MP. Please don't think like that. That is the PNM styling. That is what we navigate from. That is not what we promote. And based on the information coming out from the majority of representatives, that is not what they promote. Nah. 5 minutes is not too much. You see, now listen, we don't know the whole circumstances. And honestly, the type of contribution KFC does be making, I tell you another straight, my member of parliament does try to, when it is here at the time, he does actually call me and we go sit down and he does let me shoot my blog and I talk, update you, and I sit back and listen to him because at the end of the day, member I connected to the public. And we utilize him because KFC basically connected to the public. KFC don't have a platform on his own, but he don't hesitate to call in Felix, he call in Andy Williams, he call in the ground. We don't hesitate. So that, I think, and I don't want to say 5 minutes from an MP. I don't even want to put the MP in that category. Something telling me is somebody causing friction in the midday. Something telling me is that. And to that person, if there's anything, let me tell you something. We're not against ourselves. All are we just campaign when UNC win, everybody win. All are we supporting the same government. When it comes down to it, Ms. Kamala Prasad exercise all of our political leaders. On top of that, especially those of us who have girl children in our presence. Let me tell you something. There's two things working for me here. Two major things working for me here. You see, with all the race talk, it has been easy for me to just continue reminding my children what they're expecting all this. So you have to monitor how your friends and the kind of conversation they might try to carry in, because you don't want it ever to be portrayed that you are racist out there. Because that people just practice racial activities. And I am telling all you, let me tell you personal stuff. I just went from the KFC topic forward. Personal stuff. Company had reached out to me to do some blasting for them. But 2 vessels we had to blast. And when I go in on blasting mode, I have a young fella, a young East Indian fella, who, if I get a call today, he moved his years, that's how we just move. Now mind me, Indian and African mix. But the first call after anything confirmed, over the years, and look, we still talking. Look how long me and work is years, me and work. And up to this week, he contact me. Felix, when you're ready, make sure, when you're ready, make sure. And let me tell you something. I went on a work at time. All I watch me, everything, company, paperwork, everything proper, equipment, everything up to spec, everything. When time to go and do the orientation, and now it had 2 Indian fellas who was actually representing the company in safety. Apparently, them 2 fellas see me and dislike me. For what reason? God alone knows. But remember, I told all you, I'm moving with my partner. His name is AJ. AJ, he living in Princeton. He originally from Buenos Aires. Very, very well respectable East Indian fellow. AJ now was lining with them, around them in the earlies. So he now come and pick up what these 2 fellas was saying about me. Now, at the same time, then, we didn't reach to the point yet where they asked who is the company representative. So when it reached to that point now, and they say, well, right. And I stood up now that I is the man. One of the fellas said, no, not you. We don't want you. We want the person who actually controlling the company, because they thought was the East Indian fella, which was my partner, AJ. And AJ tell them, no, boy, no. Felix is the boss. So the fella said, no. I don't want you. I want the boss man, the owner of the company. So I give a little smoke. And I say, well, really, I'm truly big brother. I see the owner of the company. He said, no. Well, hear this. You got to come off the compound. Brothers and sisters, you see, before it reached to that, it got to come off the compound. My same Indian partner, or let us try to tell the world, all Indian nation. My same Indian partner is AJ. He had come and already explained to me, Biggs, you see them 2 fellas there? Them fellas and them is 2 stink, man. And he had already explained to me what to expect. So when AJ come and he explained it to me now, I went on the road and I buy. No. I think I came down the road and I collect a couple of walkie-talkies because my mindset was already that I wasn't getting to go on the compound. Because the same Indian partner there, he had already heard them say they wouldn't let me get on the compound. Now, brothers and sisters were telling me, I'm the same partner, the AJ. AJ know other blasters and painters. He even know Indian people who does do blasting and painting. He could have undermined me right there on that job site right there. Calling one of his partner because the people and them black, they don't want me on the compound. And at the point in time, no information. But the work had to be done. The Chinese coming in. And I am the only person in the country when they did the research that could get the job done in time. Everybody else, Massey, everybody else give them an extended time. And I must say, when I come home and I explain to my wife what it is AJ did, she said, Lover, you're going to have to tell people this. Because we just listen African people talk, and in the mindset, all Indian hate them. All Indian go rob them. All Indian go cut them up. If you're disrespectful, if we fall out, well then exchange and no robbery. If we fall out, exchange is not no robbery. But if you cannot just see somebody. And you know, after all of that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come and we complete the job, because AJ and them end up going in, and I have my walkie-talkies. And I let them go and start the job. But again, the time was ticking and the Chinese coming in. So the job has to be done. I am labeled as one of the fastest sandblaster in the country. And when the same two Indian fellas come out, they say, Irvin, we made some call. And the only person, when they call around to try to get next company, because they only had 7 days to complete it now. When they call tongue, they call shotgunners, they call point, they call all over the place. Everybody lead them back to Irvin Felix. The man come outside, but first they do damage. The security couldn't allow me to pass through the front gate. I had to go through the back gate. The same two men. Because my mother go have to answer to the boss. And there is no data why they originally take me off the compound and tell the security, don't let me pass. And it so happened when they did that, the shift changed and was a big man who implemented the instructions. So they found themselves in a problem. But at the end of the day, I didn't have time to look at racialism day. I didn't have time to look at being victimized day. Because of how I look at it is that them two Indian fellas fight me down, but my same Indian partner, AJ, stand with my ass. So I couldn't look at it as racialism day. I look at it as two fellas who just see me and didn't understand. And watch me at the end of it, we finish the job, pass the inspection, the Chinese and them come, get you with the thing. The government get you to do the business. And I remember one of the fellas and them walking up to me and telling me, Irvin, when you come on the compound, you say, I watch you, and I watch how you're moving and things. Brother boy, I underestimate you. And the man shake my hand and the man apologize for blacklisting the life. So this is what I'm telling you. Sometimes you just meet people that, if you're not careful with that story, you will label that story as racialism. That story is not racialism because it's the same Indian who stand up for me and make sure that I get through with my work. So it's just two people, two Trinidadians who misunderstand me. And in the African community, it's the same thing that's happening. You see, the faster we can get over that, is the better. And to the KFC, you is a part of helping changing that structure. So the MP mightn't be dealing with your proper brother. I don't know for what reason, but our responsibility is to see if we can get a meeting with you and your MP. Because I listened to Kamala talk last Monday night. She understands the value of her supporters. She didn't have to call and I understand the value of Irvin, and I understand the value of Just School, and told Sammy, and I understand the value of Rampy Soon. No. When they speak, we understand them. Don't have to point me up. We don't know the color we rock them. We could tell you yellow is cold. We could let you know comfortably when it's time to share with hearts. We share a yellow heart, blue heart, a green heart. And when it's time for we to personally give support to Tobago, you will hear we explaining to you that the anchor it hold. And everybody know when the anchor hold, Shit can't go adrift. The rope at a bus. The people is the rope. So Tobago holding on to the anchor. So here in Trinidad, we have to get it together. So hopefully we can rectify this problem. KFC, my big brother, we go try to rectify this problem. At the end of the day, I understand how you're feeling because without information, but then we don't know who in your ministers, who in your MP is. And those of us who is around the MPs, only please don't let me utilize that PNM style. Then we don't utilize that PNM style. If somebody calling in with an issue, I notice Freeport and all us go through that vibes too when he trying to explain something, people just be blazing him and all are we supporting the same thing. Only let we do the thing the right way. Let we do the thing the right way. If we come in, let we make sure and say, I just it in you one day. Let we say it. So at least I wouldn't think that you're attacking it. Let we set the structure. Let we change the whole vibes when it comes to supporting each other. Somebody say I actually heard that actually spreading a propaganda about the boss and I didn't like it. Something wrong with it. But yeah, this is what I'm telling all you. If you notice, long time politics, they used to say that PNM was held at a higher standard when it comes to representing Trinidad and Tobago. But ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you who have been born UNC supporters and never voted otherwise, I hope you all understand the era that the UNC is in. The UNC found themselves in an era where they have nobody opposing and no other government in Trinidad because it still have NTA, it still have different political arms. But when it comes to the level of showing unified support, the United National Congress being led by Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is executing that flawlessly. This is why I'm telling people, if your conversation is that UNC and Indian people racial, you got to send that data for me. You go up on Ramkisoon page, normal, and you pull off that information for me. Don't go back when somebody fall out with somebody and use that as an example. That is a poor example. Husband and wife just fall out and tell each other hurtful things. Brother and sister just fall out and tell each other hurtful things, not because they mean it. Not because they mean it, but because they're angry at the point in time, Brett. Ladies and gentlemen, only must understand where I'm coming from. Let me be real and reasonable. Too much people looking in from the outside and discussing, bringing the support, bringing the endorsement. And how they're talking about bringing it is bringing it unified. Exactly what we have been asking for. Listen, Ms. Kamala is Indian, the African investment corporations, and they're back in Trinidad. Oh, come on now, man. Come on. Listen. Echo, let me show you something. Twiggy is not a true UNC person, but we accept her. This is why I'm telling you. You know why Twiggy was man enough, or woman enough, sorry, to actually come out and speak up against foolishness when she see it? She was real enough to do it. She was real enough. And she not a true UNC yet. She not a true UNC yet. She not a true UNC yet. Rock back and you would see. Rock back and you would see. As soon as the government read budget and MPs get empowered, you will see. Rock back and you would see. Because what it is Twiggy have been preaching and proclaiming, even her timing with Mr. Patrick Manning, always about she community, always about her people, always about development, upliftment, and the gates of opportunity to open. And you can't vex. Somehow we try with PNM, you can't vex. This is why I just tell people, why you feel I just use the nobody is skipping the line. It's because I know which part I is in the line. May come to make nobody feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I come to make a positive contribution. And this is how all of us supposed to be thinking. So boy, I must continue to thank Mr. Ernesto Raymond Pisa and his entire staff. I have to thank all the MPs who actually don't have the supporters feeling that type of way. People worried because things slow. I and all, ladies and gentlemen, we ain't working yet, but I'm working. Because the conversation must continue. I can't sit down home and suck my finger and wait. No, you can't sit down home and suck your finger and wait. That's not making sense. And I honestly believe that we're supposed to have enough sense, especially the African community. Because I've seen people like Twilight and I start up PNM people coming over on my page. It's either one out of two things. It's either these people don't have educated Africans behind them, they don't have skilled Africans behind them, or they continuing to not care about their family. Ms. Kamala Prasad says I opened the door for the African investment team to come back to Trinidad and Tobago. She cannot come and spoon feed me now. So it's all you have to put on yourself, get all your house in order, get all your paperwork in order. So all this bacchanal and all this unnecessary thing, all this still on my page while I'm supporting my government, while me and my supporters, we continuing to endorse. You notice how we just speak here. This platform is not one that shy away from relevant conversation. We brother KFC calling and I understand how my brother feeling. I understand how we feeling. And if you listen carefully, it have people who supporting UNC. This is just UNC supporters who just call in and they just talk about it. How they appreciate the support from Felix and TC and Heavy and oh God, and the list goes on and on. This is why I just tell people they see that racial spirit, especially in this 2025, especially after April 28th. I was feeling it before because the people who was calling me stupid and dotish was Africans. So I was feeling the love before, because if you look on my page before election, I was getting real love. And people cannot vex with me because of the people who predominantly support me. Because let me don't act like it, don't have Africans supporting me. My African support and my African following big too. But you can't vex with Indian people. When they tune in and they hear me talk, the real talk. You can't vex with African people when they call in. It's not me. Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the administration doing the work that African people calling in this program and explaining that is the best African representation that they get from a prime minister in years, and Ms. Kamala is the prime minister. This is what we experiencing here. This is not a game what's going on, because you notice we don't shine away from dealing with the issues. Well, Sammy, let me tell you something. Don't let them people cannot catch us explaining and going down the road trying to bring justification when it comes to Ms. Twiggy. That is not making sense. Everybody saw what Ms. Twiggy publicly do. Everybody saw Ms. Twiggy explain to people why she was supporting the UNC. She was explaining to people that she was one of the biggest PNM. If they had no PNM she believed was bigger than her. I think if you tune into she recent live and all, she would tell you that. But she had the authority and the understanding to know with the voice that she have in her community what her people needed. Ms. Twiggy didn't just sit on social media and tell people vote UNC and support Ms. Kamala. She actually went to meetings. The UNC supporters after election sent thanks, just like how they sent thanks to me, thanks to TC and Heavy. They sent thanks to Twiggy. So we don't have no reason to explain nothing to PNM people. They did not take care of their own. And if their own find a home, UNC don't have to explain that to nobody. Pearl Sammy, sister, you out of all people, you come home here. And you, before you reach down to even connect with your family, sister, not a murder, you see here. All of this nastiness took place under the PNM. We don't have to explain nothing to the PNM and the supporters. We already understand what was left to escalate under the former administration. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to distract us. Well, Sammy, they're trying to distract me, sister. You was one of them who come and tell me, oh, when you're playing mad, or you're playing mad, is UNC you have to support. Well, you feel afraid to let the public know. There was a time when I was supporting Kennedy Richards Jr. in point. Pearl Sammy is one of the people who stood she ground. And she come over and she used to make sure and tell me, Irvin, I'm going to live to see you. This is why she is one of them could tell you, hey, when you hit that brick wall and you realize crime going up, unemployment, no performance when it comes to upliftment at school. And watch me and people tuning in to hear you by the thousands. I can't continue to tell people I supporting PNM. You have to be mad. Mad, I have a little family, a little cousin. Was on Trinidad and Tobago national football team, under 17 football team, end up in an accident. Received no support from the government. You know where he turned to? The streets. Today in jail for murder. I don't know when I see him again. Lack of opportunities have people turning in particular directions. Lack of opportunities. We don't have no reason to explain to nobody. I rather hear what Twiggy saying and Twiggy fighting for the young people of Baishi. Let them gone so we don't have to explain Twiggy. And again to the sister Twiggy, sister, thank you very much for being a loud person who crossed the floor and let African people know. Don't let nobody make you feel that African not supposed to be a part of UNC. UNC never tell nobody that the party is an Indian party. I asking for that content months now. Put all the content where UNC tell Trinidad and Tobago that them is an Indian party. PNM did that. PNM campaigned that loudly for years that the PNM is an African party, and they showed it too. They showed it too. I don't know about all you, but in point 14, they made a proper example of Cedros. They showed it. They showed it. So we sitting with leadership today, and as I tell all you, when I look at the history, African come down on boats, Indian come down on boats. Our Indian brothers and sisters cut some deal, but if you listen to the conversation, this is 2025 and Ms. Kamala still talking about distributing Caroni lands. In 2025, look how long Caroni 1975 Limited has closed down. Governments, look how many elections passed. Ms. Kamala in 2025 trying to close off those chapters so that family and the lives could move on. And some will tell you, they ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing. You've been only talking and such a big boy talk down in point here. You ain't seen give all you nothing. You ain't seen give me nothing. What's that call already? Right now waiting for water to turn back on. UNC make sure that we have water to wash with clothes. To make sure that we have water, that if you have old people in your house, you could bathe them. UNC make sure that we have water in point 14. Well, UNC with the strength of our science, make sure that we have water in point 14. Because you know why? Remember our parliament, at point 14, and library minding the business, the government minding the business. Because he's down here on his own. He had to answer to somebody. Like they're running in library on his own. He had to answer to somebody. And when you go to answer, you have to say what you do. What meetings did you have to bring about change in your community? I could tell you the water schedule. That changed. I could tell you how people feel. That changed. I could tell you all the people and them who went in Resume waiting, just waiting. Just waiting on the budget. We done in it. 10 years, we couldn't say nothing. 10 years, we couldn't do nothing. 10 years, we zigzagging how we buying the children books, how we paying tuition, how the hell we making grocery. We done in it. At least we have a structure moving forward. We get the government. Now we need the government to read our budget. Then we move forward as a people. All we get to find out from the, and thank God it happened so. All we get to find out from this government so far is the intentions. So far, what it is they're doing so far, remember, they done manners wasa, they done pull up on Tech because they wouldn't be sticking our citizens. And that's how we government deal with them. I don't care what conversation you had with who utility minister, or they would not be sticking the citizens with that. Wasa, I don't concern this. I honestly feel like how the conversation went. We ask people in Point Fortin. The way how water started to come in abundance is like Isa and Clyde. It's like them corner somebody and let them know, you see, that I don't have no room for excuses. All you again pay, the processing plant functioning, get water to the people. I don't know it, but just assuming because the way how water start to flow, a police officer, a security officer, somebody who working as a cashier, somebody who hustling on the road, you could come from work, you could come from hustling and wash your clothes. When water come now, you could actually have a little 2 days, you could fill up your tank. And after 2 days, 3 days, you start to wonder now, I hope Captain will get more time. I hope. But the nice thing with me, I talking to him and try to call him friend out. But when we get, I hope everybody getting more time. This year, they one of the plan gone down. So we end up with a little water disruption in Point Fortin. Oh, and Point Fortin, this is the update. Because I got call this morning. We end up with a little water disruption for the past week in Point Fortin. But the heights is that the plant up the road, back up and running. All they have to do now is balance back the pressure, and we back to water again. And this is what we want. And as much as they hear me sit down talking so about water in Point Fortin, by next 2-3 years, I need some Cedros people to sit down and talk the same way. But for now, we brothers and sisters in Cedros can do it. Parts of Buenos Aires can do it. Right? So let me do it in certain communities, they can do it. So while we're navigating forward, this is why we have to mind with business. Because this whole thing, remember, we have debt to pay. Despite all the debt we have to pay, we could directly point 144 billion. Stuart Young and Rowley, them supposed to pay that debt. Them supposed to pay that debt with them money that they borrow. You know. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, we have plenty to get out of Barry Padarat and them. Because Mr. John Jeremy have a lot of training to do. He have a lot of information to continue impacting. He, Mr. Munilal, and Anna Logan, you see them treated? It's not others, but you see them treated? Them three have real motivation to pass on moving forward in the UNC. Because things have to be amended, because things like that can happen. Next thing we come and end up with the PLM government again, is that? They will actually sit down in parliament and show Indian people middle finger. Based on how it is, you see Curry Marshall getting on like he feel he home. How he does feel he want to talk to Mr. Barry Padarat. Everybody win all. The difference with Barry can explain to Trinidad and Tobago how he win the election. Kareem cannot. You know Marvin Gonzalez is talking like he's a real badger. You understand? He feel he could talk to Saddam Hussein like he's one of the biggest criminals. But again, Saddam Hussein can explain to people in Trinidad and globally how he win the election. Marvin can't. All the talk they're talking about Sturge, the data out there, the videos out there, the music out there, the people who vote for him out there. So the data out there, so Sturge can explain how he win the election. Brian Manning can't. Matter of fact, I await the day Brian Manning give a public apology to Macamela. Because Brian Manning know he has no reason to be sitting in parliament today. He know he cannot bring no support to his people. He couldn't bring it when his government was in power. He could bring it when they're out. San Fernando East will have a response. Look at hold on to Brian. His elections and boundaries fall in that. But I know Macamela and give up. You know Macamela, I seen him there. I never spoke to him personally. But brothers and sisters, he's the next young, vibrant one that is needed. Because with Macamela being in government, something will have to be done to the industry of music, calypso and all these kind of things. That is his field. This debate, the Miss Kamala continuing to talk about when it comes to the loud music night and these things, Macamela is supposed to play a very instrumental part of that because he's young, he's vibrant, and on top of that, he had to be the one of the persons to balance the middle. But he into that, so you have to understand what's going on with the elderly, you have to understand what's going on with the young, because that's the industry into, and bring some balance. So you have to understand what it is we have around with. So Brian Manning is supposed to understand that he really and truly is of no value to San Fernando East. All elections and boundary did was block the people of San Fernando East. Brothers and sisters, I facts. Phone lines open 3240844. Any PNM could call in and dispute what I'm saying. They could call in and dispute what I'm saying, but when they come in, they have to come with data. So I'm give out book bags and things to the children. I'm Macamela family and them just function. So that's why I say, but nah, nobody can tell me, Brian, we need that. I understand Brian will have a certain support following because I father seat. But by now, enough people in San Fernando East don't understand what they're getting. Them don't realize Brian Manning went against his own father's legacy. They feel he wasn't following what going on social media. Everybody realized what went on. So this is why it was so shocking that Macamela didn't win. Let's I apologize about that. I apologize about that. I apologize about that. Yes. Change the internet provider. I tell you, I have 2 internet providers. I only have 1. Right now, I'm dealing with Amplay alone. And I live in the back of Spring Tree, so you have to have 2. So when one wavine, when one buffine, and beside that, you don't know who walking away. This is just like the state board problem we have. You don't know who walking away. Remember the program making impact. So you don't know who walking away. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, suffice to be so. What I'm saying is that each and every one of us have a role and we have a responsibility to play a positive part. Now, while we at it, we already saw what is being done, what is being marketed by the PNM, and their interest is not Trinidad and Tobago, their interest is their personal trying to get back into office. And based on the drastic magnitude, thank God me educated like Ray Marcel, because we now come out of the election. But he, with all the education he had, he constitutionally calling an election already. So this just show how slow I am, and this just show how slow that we in the UNC needs to continue taking it. Let me slow down a little bit. Let me slow down a little bit. We need a budget. With a budget, we will get the money spending in the right direction. But let me slow down a little bit. KFC, your situation, Now, your situation too simple. So yours don't even need slowing down. You just need to set a structure and get to it. I want to touch on this topic here. Yesterday, because over the past few weeks, our Prime Minister, Mr. Prasad Visesa, part of PNM argument is that UNC wicked, and the wicked and bad, and we're not having no Independence Day parade. That was one. And while we're not having no Independence Day parade, Ms. Kamala Prasad Visesa and the administration, they already gave the reason for the Independence Day why we're not having parade. And on top of that, the initiative at the Biafra, full 100 support, I salute. We are agreeing that at all. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I already told you, over 80% of the people in Trinidad and Tobago, when given a form to fill out, have a religious background. So, all day I pray on Independence Day, knowing fully well that we are not independent as a nation, we could pray to be independent. We had the logo of being, you know, some people married, they have a wedding ring on and they're moving, but they're sleeping around with partners and all this kind of thing. But you wear your wedding ring. You have the wedding ring. You don't forfeit the fact that you signed that contract and you're married, but you're still sleeping around the place. That is what we're not endorsing. That is what we're not endorsing. What we actually endorsing is we make up your mind and we focus and we're moving forward. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a group of people that believe this color red, they believe that they own red. They believe the red on the flag, they own it. And they believe the red blood in your skin, they own it. And it's time the people of Trinidad and Tobago, especially the African people of Trinidad and Tobago, understand. When we speak and we tell you that the African Party in Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you would know what party is the African Party, have no respect for you. They don't like you. And first, what they're doing to you is dangerous. They rather invest in a campaign. Rhoda Barrett was paid 30,000 for years. They rather pay Rhoda Barrett 30 G's. You know what communities could have get help out with 30 grand if you accumulate that for the year. And when school open, you buy books for children in our district. She was paid to convince you Africans UNC good. Every opportunity UNC corrupt. Watch where UNC marketing. UNC have enough sense to know, based on the amount of billions of dollars that was borrowed. Listen, and when you look at our agriculture sector, the poor investment that was made, UNC have enough sense to know something has to be done about it. UNC have enough sense to know that when you call yourself independent, you must be able to feed yourself. You must be able to cover your bills comfortably. You must be able to allow a spirit of unity. That must be a common thing in a country when you're independent. The average person is supposed to feel independent. And I'm asking you today, look in the education sector. Talk to the teachers, find out if they feel independent. Look in the health sector. Talk to the nurses, find out if they feel independent. Thank you, sir. Look in the defense services. Find out if they feel independent. And mind me, you ain't even touching on the common man yet. Ask the CPEP workers if they feel independent. And when you have time, you go ask all the petrician and cemetery family, all who remain. All who remain. Ask if they feel independent. Ask the small business owner if he feel independent. Ask Amoko Renegades, ask Tornadoes, ask anyone at the pan side if they feel independent. We are not an independent nation. We are the label of independence. But when you look at things to be implemented, ladies and gentlemen, we have to say thank God, United National Congress and Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is in office today. You know why? Because it's the United National Congress that actually put the procurement legislation in place. What is the procurement legislation? Well, the procurement legislation is just there, in short layman terms, to keep transparency between the people of Trinidad and Tobago and their monies. And it took a United National Congress government. Now, what you're supposed to do is start to evaluate how much times UNC ever win election, evaluate how much times, listen, I'm still using times, although you know it's time, how much times NAR win election, and then calculate to yourself how much times PNM win election. And today you have to sit and do an evaluation and look at how many things that needs to be implemented in this country. How many things need to be amended? Come on, last administration, after 2 terms in office, no pension in raised. The differently able was stripped of the food card. The disabled was stripped of the food card. No increase in the monies. And these, now mind me, I call 3 categories there. Pension, the elderlies, you can't expect nothing much from them because they're down in age already. Although we have some kicking vibrant elderly people. But let me be real. Although they're kicking and they're vibrant, that don't forfeit them from receiving the slice of the pie. So listen to 3 categories are called. The elderly, the differently able, and the disabled. And if the former administration did not have a heart for them 3 categories, leave out education and all of that. Forget education, all of that. Forget adequate lighting, forget infrastructure, forget adequate water, forget all of that. Because you didn't deal with none of that. And they didn't have compassion on the elderly persons and the persons who build this country. They didn't have compassion on the differently able, and they didn't have compassion on the disabled. How the hell could the former administration and their supporters try to convince anybody around the world that only had any form of heart, love, or respect for anybody when only took food cards away from people who needed it? Not just common people who was receiving low salary and working for less money. Not just them common people, only harass. Only took food cards from the differently able and the disabled community. That is all it did. And we're sitting with a government that find it question that was done. I had to be a damn idiot after meeting all the people who I meet in this beautiful Trinidad and Tobago and knowing all the people who need help, all the mothers and them, all, but all that I meet. Not everybody I meet, but all that I meet that need help. I had to be a damn idiot to support a government that don't care about them. Some of them so wicked and blind with their own self. They're still supporting PNM. But if I go to think on them supporting PNM, those who have already turned and make the relevant adjustment, then go get left in the rain. So it is our responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking. KFC, you feel people in despondent in point two? You feel people in despondent? When we Minister of Finance stand up and read his budget, I hope we have something else to do while the opposition cross-exam. I hope everybody else has something else to do on that given time. But when our Minister of Finance read his budget, I am praying. I'm praying. We will get everything we want. I'm praying the baby will get a blessing. I'm praying the health sector get any blessing. I'm praying the housing sector get. I don't know when the government getting the money, because we have to go out to work with the relevant structures put in place. Our refinery back up and running. This is why I prayed by the time the budget read, the relevant investment concerning oil and gas is made. Because we could talk and say what we want. 3/4 of the time we debating is because we love our country. Some of them people just debating because PNM people debating because the party in opposition and they used to get a hamper. You see the people who used to get a hamper and feel they could come to debate me. I'm not entertaining that stupidness. And it have a lot of them just come up on my Facebook page. I'm not entertaining that stupidness. It have a next one coming up on my page. You typically is a vagrant in the United States of America. You know how much phone call I have to make? I have to track down a man who think basically not right is in foreign to find out your information. And you on my page telling me about you living in America and you that big a set of rubbish talk and lying to people. You're catching your skin. Where the hell are you telling me about? And nothing wrong with that. But just don't be pretending like everything all good in the hood and come up here and you calling out my prime minister name. Oh, and Kamala this and that. And you make all the wrong set of decisions since you've been in America. People basically giving you a lodging on the couch right now as we speak. And you on my Facebook page debating me back and forth. And just in case, before I forget, the next time you come up on the page, your man said she go put you out. Because that is one of my supporters too. This I tell she don't hold your hand with that because we are what it look like you put him out because it's politics. But you're quite in Brooklyn and you could get put out for disrespecting the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Go easy, stop pretending. Stop. It's time that let's stop. Stop. Yes, in Brooklyn 11. Brooklyn 11 and 11 begging and lodging by African people. But he thinking them is African people who supporting PNM. Poor boy. Poor boy. Yeah, big boy talk and I'm working for 80,000. I'm working for 80,000 a month. I set that big boy talk and then I need the people sleeping on people's couch. Let me tell you this one. Yesterday, I put up a post on Facebook. The post that I put up is here. Let me see if I get the post. Well, this one here, PNM people get bitter. Let me get it. Let me get the post. These people are them really easy. I put up this post yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it. Yesterday, I put up this post. This is the post with Mr. Fitzgerald Hines and the representative from the United States of America. The two of them signing at the same time. That is Mr. Rowley you see in the room there. That is Mr. Rowley in the room there. And what's my first, the hypocrite, wicked, and two-tongue. You know, after signing that, they still send money for Maduro. But mind me, my responsibility is to read the heading to you. Because listen, let me tell you, somebody comments with these wicked people and then come up to explain to me that. They go, yes. They will answer here, put up. No, no, you can put it in the place. You just get up in the morning and try to be dotish. You just get up in the morning and try to be dotish on social media. Here is next one. By controlling the physical narrative, Phillips only feel like to control everybody. Here is next one. And this clown say he's a man of God. Ladies and gentlemen, the list goes on, you know. I lose all respect, you know. How can he turn so popular? Irvin Felix, can you state who? Ladies and gentlemen, and the list goes on and on with them on the comment. When you have time to go up on my Facebook page and check it out. You're looking for Irvin Felix. Again, the same symbol, just like the same. They're explaining to me that that's stupid. On top of that, one even reach so far to tell me that that is propaganda spreading. One even tell me that a doctor Ipitia. This is, and now mind me, when I look at the names, I say, no, these people are them on stupidness. Them on real dotishness, because these people and them is prominent PNM people. And this picture was displayed to be a I can't remember the exact date. Hold on, it was displayed. What is it? The 12th of December 2024. The 12th of December 2024. Your memory can be so odd. That is why you'll continue to vote for PNM. Because they're like the hard foul. Hit all a big stone and all run back in support in the same way. Just throw some feed on the ground and hit all a big stone again. Because how the 12th of December 2024, your Prime Minister, which is Rowley, your Minister of National Security, which is Fitzgerald Hines, signed the embargo and at the end nobody there. I'm telling them thank you very much. Because listen to the Prime Minister of Tobago come out explaining to people Kamala should mind she business and stay out of Venezuela and America's business. Listen to the conversation. US put troops in Trinidad and US put troops in Trinidad. Government signed agreement with White House. Ops on Maduro. They signed for that. While them was sending the resources from Trinidad and Tobago down to Venezuela, the same Rowley and Fitzgerald Hines was signing with the United States of America to put pressure on Maduro. So Rowley was just wicked the way. I hope Maduro government see this. I hope that they understand the game that they were playing with Rowley. Rowley didn't care about them. Rowley was just trying to get to the oil for his personal self. The same structure where they're trying to market to we today about America come to hijack Venezuela for the oil. Like we don't have a drug problem in Trinidad and Tobago waters. Like we don't have a drug problem when coming to customs and exercise. We never listen to how much container drugs. Come on. We have a problem in our nation. We heard it from Commissioner of Police to Commissioner of Police. Today we sit down with a Minister of Homeland Security who is not afraid to have factual conversation and explain the condition and the position that Trinidad and Tobago is in. Today we're sitting with a Prime Minister who understand the safety and the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago is way more valuable than how you think people will think we look. We can make people feel it's all good in the hood and encourage them to come to Trinidad and Tobago and get robbed and murdered in Trinidad and Tobago. You know how much people, what? While I quarreling in point here and telling people, lack of employment, the thing going up, the murder rate going up, PNM are the people campaigning and convince one of their own supporters, the woman come down Trinidad, come point 14 to build she house. PNM in power, you know, she under the impression that she's safe. The woman come down to build she house. Same PNM supporters cheering up your man. Gone with all your man documents, all kind of thing. And when I telling people, hey, if you're coming into Trinidad and Tobago, better you tell your cousin when you reach on the step. My own family, I just tell them, oh, I don't know who monetized my phone. And based on what it is I seen people putting up scheme to rob poor people in this country. You know. There's all kind of get-rich scheme passing and robbing poor people that hard-earned money. You know. All kind of pyramid scheme, all who feel look at put what scheme in place and people losing the hard-earned money. So I have enough sense. When I ask anyone of my family, anybody who know me, who connected to me and living abroad, I just let them know straight. Don't even tell me when you're coming. When you reach, call me. That don't make sense. Because people putting people in place. And when you reach, it don't make no sense. Everybody know your whereabouts. When you're coming to check me that day, right, I know your whereabouts. You're going to check Marcus in Princeton that day, I'm in point 14, I don't want to know your whereabouts. Because you don't know how people thinking. I tell you yesterday, that's by farmers over in Zaparia, over in Penal side, open up the doors to Spanish people, feed them and house them, give them work. They tie up the farmer. Gone with the man, ban all kind of thing. Gone with the man, ban. This is why, brothers and sisters, when I have in my conversation, I always differentiate. I give you the difference of what I'm speaking about. You see the law-abiding Spanish. Let's go there to you. But those who practice in rogue activities, those who hear illegally and feel you could talk to me all you want, that is not accepted. If you're unrespecting, no problem. I myself was an immigrant in our next man land. And when I practice rogue activities, the other house they used to put me in, which was Rakas Island. Not Rakas, yeah, Rakas Island. I went to Rakas Island. Yes. When I believe that I could conduct myself in the people and them place, like I born there, they have venues for that. The only difference with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we say we fed up mind people in them kind of positions. So we asking the government, send them home. All that means is if you are law-abiding Spanish, minding your business, glad for the opportunity, Trinidad have no problem with you. But if you is one of them Spanish woman mashing up families, or one of the Spanish man, drugs, guns, criminal activities, that wouldn't be accepted. And you can't vex with the people at Trinidad and Tobago for asking the government to not have to deal with that problem. We already have enough problems on our own. We have young people that born here that we have to motivate. We have a vibes of racialism that have to be broken. Know the Chinese cussing me? Let me tell you something. Since the last administration, I just watched and mind my business. And I passed through a couple of them Chinese grocery. The government needs to implement something. And when I say something, I went down to Guyana and I saw this. I went to Guyana to do some business. And in order to be play a serious part, especially as somebody who not from Guyana, in order to play a serious part doing business in Guyana, a Guyanese person must own at least 51% of the business. The reason for that is you wouldn't come Guyana and make me money and write it. So it makes sense. And the government of Trinidad and Tobago needs to implement that. You see these Chinese groceries that only have Chinese and Spanish employees, that have to be adjusted. That to me is a blatant disrespect to every community. Any community that actually have one, I have one in point. It have one in point. Matter of fact, it have two in point. Where the Chinese, it have other Chinese groceries in point, but there's two particular Chinese groceries in point 14 that don't have no Trinidadians employed. And that to me is a disrespect. That cannot be allowed. It cannot continue that way. And I honestly believe if you are somebody who migrate in, because let me be real, the Syrian has been doing business in Trinidad and Tobago, and the Syrians show that they have no problem with Trinidadian labor. No, Anthony, no. Listen. I don't push that boycott talk so one time because it have Chinese groceries that doing the right thing. They have local representatives. Some of them when they walk in, they swear. That one down in Egypt down they swear in every street. So it's a Chinese who understand what it is too. It's a Chinese who just giving me respect too. It's some of them disrespectful. But I tell you now straight, I hear about Chinese people being disrespectful to people. But if I walk in a store and thing, no, I doesn't really deal with that. If I find you talking to me in a kind of way, I will shut down and pause the whole store and make sure that we rectify. You have a problem, sir? What is your problem? No, you got to talk to me in a better way. That one in by the park right there. Me and that one guy, what does be the young one? Me and he gave enough time. But we didn't really get away because when I talked to him, he just pat down and went on to the next person. But some of them, based on what is understanding, very disrespectful. And this is what I'm saying too. So this is where we govern an authority. Yes, I have to pay attention. I have to pay attention because we have no problem with Chinese investment. We have no problem with Chinese business. But China can bring the business and bring the employee, bring the person who want to work in the business too. Some of the money must stay in Trinidad and Tobago. It can't be the landlord alone making our money. And if it is only listening carefully, them Chinese buying up too. So I don't just underline it as ambition. But at the end of the day, our people, this is why once they continue, what's with the PNM slick, you know, once them continue keeping Africans and Indian away from each other, boy, them could do what they want, boy. Them could do what they want. They could do what they want. All right, we are African people thinking in a particular type of way. And we don't have to deal with them Indian and them because them like nice things. So lead them to the side. How we get eradicate the problem, we go chain up Africans, that them is the problem. No problem, Anthony. No problem. But then too, Anthony, remember, I do have all the information you have to it. So your conversation could be justifiable too. I like to be real and reasonable too. So you probably have a piece of information that I don't know. Because you have to have something that I say inside that. So that is understandable. That is understandable. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I don't have to disrespect. I don't disrespect from Chinese and Spanish people. And you're damn right in your country. You're damn right in your country. You cannot strain your ancestors take care. You mad? You going to come here and disrespect me after my family and them build this country? Bad enough we can get a quarter. Indian can get a quarter good and African can get a quarter good. I tell all you. Well, you need to understand what I tell you all you. They have African people who into business in this country. You see them Africans? Them is strong African people. And you see that Indian people who doing business and doing relatively well in this country, them is not the average kind of Indian, you know. There's a different level of madness that take place in Trinidad and Tobago. There's a different level of venom that was spread when it comes to the PNM propaganda machinery. Them didn't just spread political propaganda, you know. Them escalated into religion and all kind of things. This is why supporters like myself and others, when we come over, is because we coming over talking the truth. That's why they would never like Twiggy. They would never, ever like Twiggy. They will never like Twiggy. And all they will live to see by the next election, Twiggy telling people that she's a backbone, die-hard UNC. She ain't born in it. But you practice it and you get it perfect. Because UNC marketing is upliftment, is betterment. But we have to do the spiritual denominations, have to come on board. Watch how biased and politically hypocrite these people is. I remember going up the road for election. The other pastor used to come on. That man used to come on between 10 and 12 when I was by Iowa radio station, wrong election time. He never used to work every day. I forget the pastor name. And that man was a pastor preaching Christianity. And that man used to be on the radio lying about the UNC. Lying. And I used to come in, I bounced him up once downstairs in the corridor and shake the hand. I didn't promote no conversation because if you saying you're a man of God or you have plaques on the wall, you know, and you sitting down and telling people about the UNC and Ms. Kamala Prasad, and you know PNM supporters was good with that. They were satisfied when the man was doing that. The UNC asking the spiritual community not to come out for election because he was speaking for his party and he was on the radio, he not there. He was so obviously somebody was paying for him to be there. He was on the radio on the PNM behalf. The UNC say we can't feed my Minister of Agriculture. Talking. We cannot be ranking and telling people about we independent, walking through Port of Spain with big gun in the road and all this, and how we servicemen and we servicewomen and that's that damn pressure in the hot sun. And when we send them out to work, they even have proper bulletproof vests. All you're wicked and nobody. All you're wicked and bad. All you're quarreling for marching in tongue. And all they even argue with the former administration to get proper bulletproof vests and a raise for we police officers. All you're wicked. All you're damn wicked. Well, Sammy, we might live to see the 15, but we have to convince each other in the right way too. Because based on the teaching I'm telling them is Kamala Prasad, the Cesar, and then Ram Logan, Mr. John Jeremy, and them have to continue feeding the younger ones below. Because I put Ms. Khadija Amin in the younger category. I put Annie Roberts still in the younger category, although he has something. Don't mind me with military bear and the thing, you know. I'm still in the young category. So the older ones have to teach the younger ones 15 years. But you see, will dance this thing until they balance that same legacy. PNM whole. You see them same years that PNM wasted with the people at Trinidad and Tobago. Let UNC keep it up. You will sit back and see UNC end up in office to balance them years. You will see. Nobody not mama guy in me is not man in control of this. It's you put up and he take down. The Lord allowed the UNC to stay in opposition. I listen to people talking. Them supporting in ULF. I listen to people talk. I listen to what's going on. I listen to what is going on. And today, going forward, because of the support of all of us collectively, people looking at UNC and they're looking at our members of parliament. Listen, not just the UNC alone, our members of parliament, they're looking at them at a higher standard to PNM high standard. So they understand how I keep saying, I hope the people in the UNC, the people who never voted nowhere else, I hope all you understand the era that the organization is in. This is factually the organization. By people looking for the investment in steel pan, emancipation, we want to see chutney. We want chutney, just like how we want steel pan market. I want that market too. My daughter, they're missing the era right now. But that at a market too. African people, children, we must be teaching that in school too. Just like Calypso supposed to be taught. This government about that. You go crow on them at 3 years, but based on the racial content. You see where it's coming from? What going on? What going on? What do you want thing? What going on with you and Twiggy? Twiggy saying for she supper. You ain't following Twiggy or is she? Come on, man. You ain't following Twiggy or? You don't understand what's going on. Twiggy didn't hesitate to tell people that she was born, bred, die-hard, concrete backbone, PNM, fighting in the road for PNM. Twiggy tell you that. But Twiggy also realized that the young people in she community need that support. And she had enough belly to let them bring back the message to them and let them know all you can't continue holding on. Look how much generations we lost. Look how much generations we're going to continue losing if we stick with the PNM. Twiggy did that. Twiggy did that. And I think we got it. You see, I don't know what's going on, but Twiggy did that. Twiggy played she part. And she what she did, the African community needed to see. Because Twiggy is not one of the nowadays in politics. I still young to Twiggy. Twiggy around since Patrick Manning time. You understand? And if you understand what we get in here, it's UNC politics we get in here. UNC politics we get in here. We had the opportunity for PNM politics. Why it is if I mentioned earlier on in the program that is UNC implement the procurement legislation. Let's just show people in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we had differences along the year, but every time UNC get an opportunity, they always keep the people at Trinidad and Tobago interest at hand. Yes, we could bring videos of she and Japan fall out, but when it's talking about the UNC structure, UNC interest always the interest of the people. Guys, facts. This is why they couldn't shake the public when they're talking about, oh, and then Indian ain't gonna give all or nothing. They couldn't convince the African population like with that. Because the African population had enough sense to know when it's time to get support. They watch all their African colleagues go by the Indian man and get it. They went there and get it. They went there. So the African population, if you don't notice what's going on, the place, it gained more quiet. It's just 2-3 Africans who actually base their livelihood on hampers. Them who really acting up. Them in quarreling for CPEP to actually have a proper structure. Them quarreling for a wage increase for CPEP. They ain't even quarreling for stability in CPEP. Them just quarreling for the contractor partner to get back the work. The government that we support did not take the easy way out, and I think we have to appreciate it. Yes, it put me in a little slumber. Slow it down a little bit, but we have to appreciate it. So, Rishi, I want to encourage you. As you think, because I know it's me, don't get complacent too. You have to mind your business too, you know. You have to mind your business, don't get complacent. So, but based on what it is I see Sister Twiggy dealing with it, now I think nobody could come and convince Twiggy not to man up here and empty. Twiggy give them enough chance. Everybody could tell you Felix give them enough chance. Everybody give them enough chance. Even UNC and all give them enough chance. The people at Trinidad and Tobago gave PNM enough chance. And it reached the point now where when you calculate the amount of years PNM was in office and where we are as a people, it ain't making sense. It's not making sense. So this is what I'm telling brothers and sisters. When it is we making the contribution, when we dialoguing, then we do it respectful. Because I want my government to hear me, and I want my government to understand that this is a shortcoming. I ain't saying you implement it. But somebody might come up and say, oh God, so some people go talk, look how long the drain down the back by me. And then politicians and them wicked, they release a UNC person. You know? But you get frustrated that time and then you come up talking about look how long. Instead of calling him just like KFC situation, is I have to help make sure that KFC come out of feeling that kind of way. Because I'm telling you straight, I have enough sense to know, ladies and gentlemen, no budgeting rate. So KFC member of parliament probably think that KFC is not the type of person to have that conversation with. KFC is an outspoken person. So if there's anybody that you want behind your back, especially when they were supporting before election. Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in the conversation with emancipation. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill God. Won't you help me sing this little sound of freedom? Is all I ever ask. Redemption song. Brothers and sisters, we find ourselves in a time where we could redeem ourselves. Unity, togetherness will strengthen Trinidad and Tobago. Those who preaching against it, that is their business. When they ask why the Independence Day parade is cancelled, you could just simply answer them and let them know. Could this nation feed itself? Are we safe as a people? And if those two answers cannot be answered, automatically telling you straight, they will start to tell you stupid and your daughter, she is an Indian, they will tell you gone so Indian and call it the nasty names. If he's African, they will tell you he's a sellout, your daughter, she black, you're ugly. The old people calling you monkey. Them calling you monkey and telling you it's Indian people calling you monkey. My own people. Just yesterday, two African, big man to me, my mother age. As a monkey, a stupid and a dotish. And the very next comment they put up on it, not on the YouTube, on the Facebook, I'll never see what I'm dealing with. And the very next comment they put up, Indian people is racist. You're racial towards your own damn people. You have no reason to be having no conversation towards nobody who you assume racial. When you take the shortcut out because you don't want to mind your children, you don't want to buy books for your children, you don't want to take care of your wife, you don't want to take care of your husband, you don't want to have a house, you don't want nothing, but you don't have a good vehicle. You like to drink rum. And this is my next thing. How the hell Indian people that drink rum and still pay handling all the bills? And we generations of fathers, especially the African ones, lining by the same damn bar. What is all let us be doing? All they never sit down and ask themselves that these are the kind of things that they don't want African people to sit down and reflect. This is what they don't want me to do. To sit down and reflect. How the hell me and Max working for the same company? But we lining by the same damn bar. What he doing differently? You know where you're missing? You just miss the time he leave. Well, let us watch when Indian people fall out. Well, they never notice that us fall out kind of early and jump out and go over the business. Well, let us notice them thing. Well, let us notice them thing. As African, because at one time when that was my mind, you get paid, everybody get paid. You go by the bar, people who even like you're buying drinks for. Command thing. Command thing. And you get a little paper. Your madam, she ain't good again. All of a sudden now, she body is sexy now. This is what it is we women have been dealing with. This is despite the mothers had to witness the sons and daughters be raped and murdered, be slaughtered on the nation's roadway. This is what the women in this nation have been going through. Domestic violence. Beat your ass and go the road and the outside woman. This is what it is, and all these things have to change. Why it have to change? Why it like that in the first place? Because we don't understand we value. We don't understand we value how much it costs to have 2 and 3 women. And the one woman you have an opportunity. You have a wife and you have a son. And you have an opportunity to show your son how to treat a woman. You even realize that we God created for. You're working, you're collecting a proper salary. Why not go Paris and Spain with your one wife? Why take the same reasonable money you're working for and bust it up among 3 families? She was good all the time. All the time we broken, she helping you scrape up things to eat. Oh God, boy, how we gonna make it today? And you know, the woman always have only last 20. I'm in the last 20 years. Come on, men, only know what I'm talking about. I'm in the last 20 years. Is we have to motivate the men and them to. We have to chisel out that. That styling at the cut. We have to cut. We goes nowhere with it. We cannot elevate with it. We weaken our children practicing those activities. Oh God, and at some point in time, let we allow women to be the champions. It starts with the Prime Minister. Ms. Kamala Persad is a woman. The president is a PNM president, but still is a woman. So let we let it start. Let we show some respect because, come on. Come on. Semantics, yes. Understood. But we have to fix, we still have to remedy the problem. We have to remedy the problem. We have to remedy the problem because it's at that time, look, we are local coming up. And when these people and them pulling out with their lies, KFC does be one, he don't hesitate, he just come out and blaze them. Explain to them how wicked and bad and how. So, we can't leave KFC in the ring. We got to remedy the situation and move forward. And again, without talking, look, Paul Sami now put it up. 15 years, 3 terms we're talking about with the UNC government. 3 terms we're talking about. In order to get that, based on the level of rubbish, them talking idea, and them now lost. Them supposed to be trying to regroup. And them talking and looking for all kind of madness. Them looking for fight, who taking and who ready for election. All kind of bacchanal. All kind of thing. All kind of thing going on. So, and then let me be real. You see, we people who, this is what I'm telling on. We are people who we put in on board and things. I don't want my board members have to come out and have to be putting argument to defend the government. We can do that. Eventually, when budget done read, and it'll go end up slowing down we a little bit. Although I know you have energy. But they know you have to head off to work directly now because things getting put in place to the people. So while Anil and Philip on them missions, because them they structured to support David Lee. While when Anil and Philip pull off, is we have to hold it behind. Is we have to stand up and continue fighting. We have to continue fighting. Because if we don't, the PNM will go back to using the propaganda machinery. They boast about it. They boast about it. And if they did use the propaganda machinery only for politics, then we could have said a small thing. But when it is, I could tell you that Juliet Davy, a well-known PNM supporter, encourage young people because she know Indian people are thing. She know they are thing. Run up and jump the fence. Run up in their house. Take the thing. Not one PNM MP, blogger, or supporter had anything to say about that. Let somebody who's supporting the UNC say that now. Let me sit down here and tell people, jump PNM people fence, and I'll go see how fast UNC put out information disbanding what it is I say. Only understand the difference, please. Understand what we're dealing with. Understand what we're dealing with. We have a responsibility, each and every one of us. Just like the other day when the CPEP talk would come up, and I myself did sit down right on the same platform here, and I telling people, what do you worry about? All these CPEP workers go get higher back. My phone ring. Who you feel call me? Rishi, for real, who you think call me? Twiggy? Is Twiggy call me? Felix, did you speak to Mr. Barry Pararap? No, sister. She said no, but then you're crossing the line. I said, sister, when you call her, I said, talk to me, talk to me. And then she started to break down for me. She said, no. We supporting him, yes. We supporting the conversation, yes. But we don't start to talk like we doing Barry work for him. And when she break it to me, I say, wait, now I know what you're saying making sense. And I self came back up and made an apology online because I had to be a damn idiot to ask Barry Parara to hire back everybody in CPEP, fully well knowing it are people who was working CPEP before when UNC was in power with Ms. Kamala first term. They make they work in years. It are people who lost their whole livelihood, who could do with a little 2-3 weeks, a little fortnight in CPEP right now to pay a bill. Them been home waiting for years. So technically, I started campaigning against my own people. This Twiggy called me and open my eye and let me know that's what you're doing, Felix. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Allow the government to implement what they're implementing. Then who work in CPEP, they go work their way back. Them go find the new contractors. I say, what's my way of saying making sense, sister? Because honestly, I personally know people who actually waiting for CPEP to start back. So you have to understand, Twiggy might used to be a PNN, yes, but when it comes to she members of parliament and the people she supporting, she monitor how she talking and she monitor how others talking to. The she who call me and tell me. So understand what's going on. Only we in this together. Watch me. And just in case we have 2-3 African PNM up, my responsibility is to remind all you, the Indian community is not all your enemy. Success is not your enemy. Progress is not your enemy. And change is not your enemy. You have to want better for yourself. You have to want better for your family. I'm telling all the people from... To tell you the truth is, the man connected to Manchester United and Aston Villa, you know. He connected to them 2 football teams and watching Trinidad and Tobago and pick out of all the platforms throughout the country, pick out me to call him. To tell me his idea, his initiative. He done reach out to certain members of parliament already. So they're ready for the talk for Trinidad and Tobago to start to be aware of what they expect so people could prepare their children. And what the hell you're telling me? We already had the opportunity at ending back up with the highest paid footballer. It's right there. And on top of that, the opportunity are getting to hold the mantle because at one point in time, Dwight was the highest paid footballer. And he was African. So he represented for the African community loudly, especially Tobago and Trinidad. So were you telling me we so unskilled here that we can't end up having the most highest paid Indian football player? But something telling me that history there, why it didn't drop yet by that history right there, highest paid footballer in the world in this modern time. Come on. In Trinidad and Tobago, we had that. When Dwight was running, there was nobody salary bigger than him. He was the highest paid in the universe. And when you telling me, you feel like an idiot, or you feel like a damn fool, or that gonna make we country look more good. That gonna make we look more good when people tune in and watching Panorama and they're watching African and Indian people playing pan. That is the blessing. That is the blessing. When you feel people tuning in to only see African play pan, it's only a racist will do that. It's only a racist will do that. When you feel Tornadoes only want African to hear what they're saying. Or Frontier only want African to hear what they're playing. Or Amoko Renegades only want African to hear what they're playing. But people long past them standard of living. That is the PNM typical old rubbish, keep back your own styling. Because if they didn't care all that about African and have all that feelings for African, the African community would have been way evolved. Way evolved. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let them mamaga you, bamboozle you, and hoodwink you. We in this together as a people. And watch me, our children must continue to go forward. They get some of we to not some of we, they get some of them to agree. Opening Day campus, it making sense. Only a wicked man like Rowley will come up with that. Only a wicked representative will endorse a conversation like that. You could afford to do that. When did you think we have enough sense to know Miss Kamala could afford to do it too? But yet still, she arguing because her vibes is for the poor man, the poor woman on the ground. We're talking equal opportunity. That is where they talk. And this government is promoting it, whether African or Indian, equal opportunity. And then get African people and some Indians to go against bringing the campus in, baby. Come on, man. That is the kind of foolishness we was a part of. We sit down and allow people to sit down in government while they lie to the world and tell the world they're taking care of Trinidad and Tobago. Convince corporations on the outside to lend them money, over $144 billion. They borrow on the backs of the people and left us to pay for it. But we had to show them people we could get we house in order. And when I say get we house in order, we economy in order, we education sector in order, we construction sector in order. Ladies and gentlemen, we private sector we had to help get in order. We even had the damn grocery association under the PNM begging for money, begging for US to bring in goods to supply. Come on, man. So them just kill me. Them I don't understand it. I don't understand some of them, and it is not our responsibility. It is not our responsibility to support laziness, racialism. Laziness and racialism at the PNM. Talk down there. Brothers and sisters, family and friends, once again, it's your boy Irvin. I want to encourage you because you know exactly what is going on here. And you know the slogan is each one help on a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So the information is at the bottom of the screen, and if the Lord lay it upon your heart, brothers and sisters, to send the relevant support so that the program continue going. You know the bloggers, we're not out and about working yet, but a little goes a long way. And I'm telling all of this the other day, then this Monday we went and cleared something. They're trying to convince me that we members of parliament in supporting. Mr. Clyde personally called, Mr. Keyser personally called, and then Robertson all reach out, but I didn't get to him. And then Robertson all reach out. So we're telling me, come on, man, the government is dealing with people. You see KFC thing? Based on what it is, I watching the comments, sir. I watching the comments were taking place. So some command ground had to come to because somebody saying to KFC just spoke in a kind of aggressive way. So some command ground had to come to. So I'm supporting my boy KFC. And again, because KFC continuing to support the UNC. To my UNC coalition family, brothers and sisters, family and friends, again, all you know is the boy Irvin. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in today. I want to continue to ask you to encourage your brothers and sisters to subscribe to the page. Ladies and gentlemen, let's open up the algorithm. The algorithm open up. There people will understand what it is we're speaking about. They would understand the level of unity that is being portrayed on 648 television. And it's not just for me. It's not just for you. It's actually for our nation. We're actually doing this for our children and for our children's children, because we are aware of the damages that was done in this country. So brothers and sisters, family and friends, as you navigate. I want to thank you. I want to ask you to just continue to stay focused. I want to ask you to continue to pray. Pray for Trinidad and Tobago. Pray for the government. Pray for my family. Or we continue to pray for you and your family. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family and friends, I want to thank you all for tuning in, for viewing, for listening with us. Again, you know the slogan here is each one help one, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Being a good person is not an option, but that's the only option. So let's be good. Continue to send out some love to my Member of Parliament, Mr. Ernesto Raymond Pisa, and his entire staff, his team. And again, we continue to endorse and support our government, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, our Honorable Prime Minister, our Attorney General. I don't know why I started to do this, because I don't know, I just remember Lakram Guru, Jolene John, Wayne Sturge, Philip Edward Alexander, Roger Alexander. Come on, and the list goes on and on and on. Love in the House, Vandana Mohit. All of come on, let me be real, man. Saddam Hussein, Barry Pararat, Khadija Amin. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's support those who support. My mother always tell me, Irvin, like who like you, support who supporting you. This government is supporting the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And on top of that, brothers and sisters, they're representing us. So if people connected to Manchester United and Aston Villa are reaching out, and just in a couple of weeks here, because we're lining up to do a little vlog and thing, so to the football groups, football committees, all over Trinidad and Tobago, all need to tune in. Hopefully some of those who drug with the bodies, they do shake it off and open the doors so that the brothers and sisters, the children, get opportunity to be a part of progress. Again, I must say thank you to my brother Annie Roberts, and again, belated happy birthday to Annie Roberts, and belated happy birthday to everyone. We're saying happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating birthdays today. Happy birthday to you. We say happy anniversary to everyone who's celebrating anniversary, whether it be a job, your car, whether it be your house, whatever it is, we're saying happy anniversary to you and your relationship, and happy anniversary. And brothers and sisters, those of you who mourning family and loved ones along the way, we continue to send out condolences to you and your family and your loved ones. Brothers and sisters, it's only boy Irvin again, 640 television. I want to continue to ask you to stay focused as we continue to monitor what is going on with the CPEP structure, what is going on with Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, we must monitor what is going on in ourselves, in our bodies. So again, I want to ask you, while we navigate, only making sure and catch our brother with Breaking Dawn, because they tend to touch on that. So you're catching Breaking Dawn, brothers and sisters, on the morning break, you're tuning in to be brother Andy Williams and Professor and the team who continue to keep us updated, keep us informed. Again, we are the Douglas politics with brother Andy Roberts who continue to bring it clearly. They wouldn't like him, but again, who does like you when you're talking facts? No one. Again, your boy Irvin, between the hours at 12 and 2, during the course of the day, based on what I get to understand, TC and Heavy is off this weekend. We still have Ian Arnold we're dealing with. We still have Jason De Silva we're supporting. We still have Ravi Figaro, Opinion Box. We still have Real Talk with Ali. We had the Real Talk corner. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we still have Wall Street and the team. Oh gosh. When UNC win, when UNC won, everybody won. Once you are doing the good job, a good job. No problems. We're looking for no problems. You're damn right, semantics. We're looking for no problems, no unnecessary bacchanal, no unnecessary thing. As I tell you, with them budget consultation, if it is we start to get over a while and try to see if we could make a whole scene data making sense. We want the government to make the best option with the information that they compile in their budget consultations. We want the best out of it. We want the best for Tobago, we want the best for all of our electoral districts. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we support, let's stay focused and let's stay blessed. Again, from a UNC coalition family, let we stay on top of things, let we mind the business. It's we who pushing for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. It's we who endorsing for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. Let's see I bring out my America pillow. I endorse my government. And on top of that, my mother and them living in the United States of America. And on top of that, is I who went to the people place and played the fool. America was good to me. On top of that, drink water. But water right there, drink water. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, America play a part when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago and when it comes to our longest running ally. So to the United States of America, bless good afternoon. I say bless good afternoon to Venezuela too. We're not part of the war, but we have a responsibility to identify who we support. I support the United States of America based on their stance with this narcotics conversation here in the Caribbean. Nobody asked Trinidad soldiers to go to war. Nobody asked Trinidad to go to war. They asked who we supported. When we supported Manchester United, do we be in England? No. When we supported Lakers, we don't be in LA. Right? So the United States of America is right now in the waters. Venezuela is in their homeland. Right? So the United States being in the waters, we supported them normal. And based on what it is I get to understand, all stable-minded, legal Venezuelans supporting the United States of America. This is what I get to understand. Based on what I get to understand, plenty of them people who they claim say signing up. It's people who are under pressure. So people signing up under the impression that food and necessities will be accessed easier. This is what it is I get to understand. So I hope the Venezuelan government is able to deliver to his people proper goods and service and not just weapons. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my part. At the end of the day, me living down there, but we have a responsibility. Based on what's going on down there, if I don't want it happening in my land, I don't want it happening in our next man's land. Venezuelans have a responsibility to stand up for the right thing. We did it on the 28th of April. If that is what I'm standing with, that is their business. That is their business. But we standing with our Honorable Prime Minister, we standing with the UNC and the Coalition of Interests, Tobago. All you don't know the anchor hole, and the anchor is the people. So all you continue to stand firm, UNC Coalition, and we continue to stand firm every week. Every week. Look, yesterday I dropped a prison service with the Prison Association talking about a generator under the PNM. Or you go up on the Facebook page and see how much millions we reach into this generator. Or you feel the UNC having to do it by joke. Or you feel when them people bringing that information. You honestly, let me be real enough. You honestly think the government that is in power right now, you think it brings Barry Parara joy to explain millions of dollars spent in things and it could have helped people in his own electoral district? Well, if them things is that joy, them things is not that joy. Because Barry Parara had to go back home and face the people in his electoral district. Just like Mr. Kiza, just like Mr. Clyde Elder, just like Ms. Kamala Prasad, just like Mr. Alexander, just like Annie Roberts. So these things, when the government talk about these things, them things is not to say like, they're happy that happened. No, sports could have been long gone if we didn't allow this choppiness to happen. Cost of living could have been at a better standard if we didn't allow this choppiness to happen. Oh God, art and culture could have been at a higher standard if we didn't allow this choppiness to happen. Brothers and sisters, we have a responsibility to make sure PNM talk the way out of government. We have to make sure that they continue to talk the way out of the parliament. Because I am telling you, the next election, somebody else is going to be in opposition or the UNC is going to end up in parliament alone. That is it. Brothers and sisters, I want you to stay focused. I need all to stay blessed. Understand that we have a responsibility to play a positive role in our communities, in our nation, and in our families. Let us represent as men. A real man, don't have to have 2 and 3 girls. Let me represent as man. We broken. If the family taking strain together when we broken, when we having money, then the family is supposed to be there to enjoy it. Let me set the structure right. To the African people, when you come down a little bit from that piece of stupid doctrine with the feed you. Look for the nearest Indian you could find. It's time that we start to exchange information. Find out how the hell the last time when all of we was working so. He was able to buy a van, still send his daughter to school. And you end up with nothing. It's time we start to exchange the information. And there you go realize what them doing ain't too far from what you doing. It's just that we just do it too much. We just overdo it. Got to pat down a little bit. This is why I'm telling people, see when it comes to financial business, when I work and I'm making money coming in home by me, my wife does handle it. Because I know me, I will go down point with $1,500 and 15 people meet me and I will give away that money. I will give away that money and them will pick up on me and say, boy. You're going mad or something on. Them people don't even support what the hell is saying. I need to go and buy something. I'm going to buy sneakers. I will walk in and once I see the shoes I want, I see the pants I want, I see the chair I want, I will walk in. I walk in the grocery, I see the items I want, I will walk in and pick it up. That is not a woman shop. That is how we just always end up with money. You notice I say we. Because she money is we money, my money is we money. That is how we just always have money. So you find out who is the strong person with holding the money in the family. And you allow them to take charge. When we broken, we broken. But when we haven't, always remember how you just function when you're having money. And that is a well-known fact. People know that. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to encourage you. Let me say focus, let me say bless. Remember to call somebody you know somebody. Brothers and sisters, this has been our next episode of Real Talk. Until we meet again tomorrow, please the Lord. I want to ask you to stay focused. I want to ask you to stay close to your family. I want to ask you to just continue to support, give our government the support that is needed so that we could go forward to be a better Trinidad and today. Brothers and sisters,
It's